everyone, I'm Irene and this is my daughter Dominique, and today we are going to be sharing tips for your trip to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. So we're just kind of lumping these both together in one video. So let's see, what should we start with? Okay, so one thing that you want to keep in mind is that if you want to get your Tokyo Disneyland tickets before you leave home, you can do that online, but there are two things that I learned when I was doing that myself. One is that you want to call your credit card and make sure to let them know that you're going to be doing this transaction online, because once it gets flagged as like a suspicious purchase, then it won't go through. Next is that you want to make sure that you're using MasterCard, and I'm not trying to plug MasterCard for any reason at all other than I tried using American Express and what was the other one?
Visa?
Yeah, Visa. American Express and Visa, and neither one of those went through. There was just like an error message. And so then I called Tokyo Disneyland, the customer service, and the lady that answered the phone recommended that I try MasterCard. She said the other one should work, but for some reason more people were able to do it using MasterCard. So anyway, I tried it that way and it worked. So, well, the first time it was blocked, but I got a different message for it being blocked, so I knew that it wasn't because it wouldn't take it. It was for a different reason, and so that's when I called the credit card company and let them know that it was like a legitimate transaction and please let it go through. So then I did it again and it worked that time. So anyway, long story short, use MasterCard.
So for another tip for Tokyo Disney is to bring water and your own snacks into the park, because it's better financially to bring your own snacks, but I like getting snacks at Disney. I thought all the snacks were really good.
I know. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are walking around continuously, which we normally are, and I think on average we were walking around like 10 or 11 miles a day, something like that. So you're gonna work up a healthy appetite and then you're gonna be thirsty. So even if you bring like a juice or something that you want and some snacks to kind of have while you're waiting in line, you're still gonna be hungry for other things. You just won't have to do that every single time you get hungry. So I think it's like a nice way to still have some kind of treats while you're there, but not like overdo it with your budget.
I agree.
And then another thing that you want to do actually in advance is find out what rides might be down, because that's gonna not only help you know like what to anticipate so that you're not super disappointed if you really wanted to ride something just to find out that it's not even going to be working. So I think in that way it's good to just know ahead of time, and you can find that information right on the Tokyo Disneyland website. It'll tell you what attractions will be down. It's kind of nice to know.
That's pretty helpful. Ties into that is there's a really long line, so you want to make sure that you have comfortable shoes for sure.
I know, and actually I wish I would have gotten a picture. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
No.
I wish I would have gotten a picture, because the lines seriously are no joke there. They are for everything. For food, bathroom, shopping, rides, everything. There are tons of people there, and I feel like this is a lot of people's bucket list. Like if you are a Disney fan, you want to see Tokyo Disneyland.
Well, I thought it was interesting because even in Tokyo there wasn't a lot of people that looked non-Asian. I saw maybe one or two other people that weren't Asian that were there, and all the seas of people there just was like, so I thought that was interesting.
Right. Yeah.
That as many people as there were there, it was majority people that lived like, you know.
Yeah, it must be like a locals park for sure. But the thing that I wish I would have gotten a picture of is this lady that was in the line, because you're in these lines for what feels like an eternity, and this little boy must have been like exhausted. He was asleep, but his mom, like this kid was like what, like 8, 9, 10. He's like a bigger kid and he's like asleep on his mom's back. So she's like bent over. Do you remember we were in line for Thunder Mountain and we're going through the line and this boy is just like asleep on her back? I can't believe you don't remember that. I was like, now that is dedication and love. I cannot even imagine. Oh my gosh. That was impressive. I was impressed.
Also, there wasn't a lot of single rider rides. The only ones that had the single rider rides was Raging Spirits and Indiana Jones at Disney Sea. And that just means that you can cut the line before everyone else if you say that you're not with any other party. And then you just get like a random seat that's left over.
Yeah, actually, that really reduced our wait time because like I am telling you, the waits are no joke. Like these are long waits. So I think one of the rides, it was well over an hour for one of those. It was either Raging Spirits or Indiana Jones. I can't remember which one we came to first. And then I'm pretty sure this is in one of my other videos, but one of the other tourists that was enjoying the park overheard us and just mentioned like, hey, you know, these two rides are the only ones that have single rider, and if you do this, like you'll barely have any wait time. And it was so true. It reduced our wait time to like 10 or 15 minutes. So we were able to go on those rides multiple times just doing the single rider because like you were saying, it's like you just cut through because you're the single rider. So everybody else is waiting like hour and a half and you're only waiting like 10 or 15 minutes.
It was cool.
Yeah, so that was really nice. That actually I think really helped us be able to really enjoy the park because it was kind of getting a little, not really depressing, but disappointing that there were such long waits for every single ride.
Oh, to me it didn't bother me. What bothered me mostly was how cold it was and that I didn't pack a heavy enough jacket to be comfortable. So that was the only part that was making it somewhat unbearable at certain times of the day because it was so cold, but I didn't have what I needed to stay warm so that I could keep going.
I know, and actually I feel like that's another good tip. Like because for us it seemed like, okay, well their weather is kind of similar to like Seattle weather.
It wasn't.
And what feels like 54 to us felt like 30 when we were there, even though it was like in the 50s. I know, and I don't know why.
It was the kind of cold that like hurt. Like it hurt that it was so cold, and I've never felt that cold before, and it was like unbearable. So it was really hard for me to like try and have fun when like my body's hurting because it's so cold.
Right, and so you definitely don't want to underestimate the cold there. For some reason it felt colder, and I think the reason why it felt colder is because we're not used to being outside continuously in that kind of cold. Normally when you're at home, you're like in your house, you're in your car, you're in places, and so you're not like just walking around for hours and hours and hours in the cold.
I don't know, but it was cold.
It was cold. So if you can bring like hand warmers, scarves, a good jacket.
Jacket and a hat and you're good.
And a scarf to keep your neck warm. I felt like that really helped me. So
must be nice. Couldn't relate to that.
Don't worry about being extra cute when you're there. Be warm. That's what's important.
True.
Oh, next is that if you have like a 3-day park ticket. Okay, so let me back up. So you can have like a after 3 park ticket, an after 6 park ticket, a 1-day, a 2-day, and a 3-day. Those are all of the park ticket options you have. So if you have a 3-day ticket, then you have to let them know what day you're going to be at each park, except for the 3rd day. On the 3rd day, you can just go wherever you want. You can go to both, you can go to one. doesn't really matter. You don't need to let them know in advance. And knowing that, I was trying to figure out how we were going to get to each park for the park hopper. So this is what you do. You go right outside of the entrance. There's like the resort buses. So whatever park you're at, then you get the resort bus for the hotel, their main kind of flagship hotel that's right outside the entrance of the other park that you want to get to. So for instance, if you're at Tokyo Disney Sea, you're gonna want to get the bus for Disney Ambassador Hotel. That's the one right outside of Disneyland. And if you're at Disneyland, then you want to get the Miracosta bus. That will take you right outside of Tokyo Disney Sea. So that's how you're able to get back and forth between the two parks without having to do like public transportation or having to walk, because it's going to take you a really long time to walk. I don't know how long because we didn't try it, but they're a little distance away.
Another good thing to know is that when you need to get a Disney map, you can ask for the English version, which is helpful at the entrance.
Oh yeah, because I feel like automatically they kind of give you the Japanese one. But if you ask them, they will give you an English one. Oh, the other thing, sorry to back up for a minute, is that going back and forth to the parks, I think you can also get their monorail, but we didn't ride the monorail, so I don't have...
I thought we did one.
We didn't at all. What I found out before our trip is that it's a separate transportation ticket. It doesn't tie into the Metro card that, like if you get a Suica or a Passmo, you can't use that card. You have to get a separate ticket for that. So anyway, that's one thing to keep in mind. But I just wanted to show you really quick the English park guide. It's really helpful to get this because it has all kinds of good information in it. Not only does it have the picture of the park, but on the other side, it has the quick guide for dining. It shows you the pictures of what each of the places sells. It tells you how much to expect, like 1 yen is $10, 2 yen is $20, 3 yen is more than 20, and there's like a little legend down here that will tell you all of that. And then this other one is like a shopping guide. It'll tell you what shop sells like clothing or diapers or, you know, different stationery, different things like that. And the other one tells you about all of the attractions, which ones have fast passes and which ones might be dark rides, which ones are okay on rainy days, ones that are a little more thrilling. So anyway, it has tons of really good information, so you want to make sure that you ask for the English guide when you get there. Okay, oh, the other thing, I already uploaded a video on Expiati, but it's the unofficial downtown Disneyland. Definitely check out that video. I will put the link in the description, or actually I think I can probably like somehow flag it so that you can click on it and see that if you haven't seen it. Anyway, I recommend that you allow at least like 2 hours at least to see
look
that.
at the shops.
Because there's so many shops.
I was like super rushed. I couldn't really look at anything.
I know. I felt like we didn't have enough time to really look
Well,
around.
also because we were really hungry and nobody wanted to look at anything. So that was also part of it.
Right, and then we wanted to get to the other park because we stopped there during our park hopper day, and so we didn't want to spend too much time looking around in the shops. What we should have done, and what I wanted to do, was actually do that on a different day, but it turned out that the day we were gonna do it was before our like 3-day pass started. And then when I was looking online at what rides were gonna be down, I saw that the Winnie the Pooh ride was gonna be down, and I heard so much hype around that I definitely didn't want to miss it. And so we wound up then just cutting out Expiati on that day and just doing the after 6, because by the time we switched our apartments and got all of our stuff kind of settled and then got over to the park, it was already 6 o'clock. So we definitely didn't have time to look before that. So anyway, that's why we couldn't really do it, but definitely that is a must see. So
yeah, speaking of the pool ride, you can get a fast pass for that and Spacebound, and but you want to get the fast pass before 3 p.m. because some of them they close at 3 p.m. or at 4 p.m. So you just want to get as many of the fast passes as you can, so you don't have to wait in the long lines as much.
Right. Yep. And that really did help, like the fast passes. But like you were saying, the kiosks for the fast pass close early. I feel like in Disneyland and Disney World they stay open till late. I don't know how late, but it seems like, you know, until 6 or 7, or who knows, I don't know, but a lot longer than 3 o'clock. I think one of the parks was 3 o'clock and the other one was 4 o'clock, but I can't remember which was which. So just to be safe, just try to get as many fast passes as you can before 3 o'clock. And then on your ticket, it'll tell you when to return or when to go to that ride that you're getting your fast pass for. But also then there's a different time of when you can get your next fast pass, which is usually like, I think around 2 hours from when you got your fast pass. So you definitely want to check out the times so that you can utilize that as much as possible. It's really going to help with lines for sure.
True.
And I think for Space Mountain, we did like Space Mountain, we did like Pooh, and then also I think I think it was Haunted Mansion, consulting the guide here, fast passes, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, It's a Small World has a fast pass, Pooh's Honey Hunt, Haunted Mansion, Star Tours, Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, and Monsters Inc. All of those have fast passes. So you definitely want to get as many as you can. Lastly, I just wanted to mention about storing your luggage, the luggage lockers. So if you are having like a late check-in to your hotel or apartment, whatever you're doing, or a late flight, and you have some like in between time and you want to not have to carry your luggage around, if you want to do like either one of the parks for a little bit or Expiati for a little bit, then they definitely have places for you to store your locker or to store your luggage. So they had them outside of the park entrances, they had them at the subway Mayahama station, they were there, and also at Expiati they had storage lockers there. So I mean, it seems like at the major subway stops they had storage lockers, but also at those 3 places if you're gonna be around Disneyland. So that was convenient. Anyway, I think those were all of my tips. Were those all of your tips too? Awesome. So I hope those things were helpful for you. If you have been there before and you have other tips that you want to share, please put those in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.